So it says that NPS, the next generation product, or we call it as solution. We will take you through one by one. Let's move to the next slide and then start the discussion. So what we'll do is then the next about 20-25 minutes time, we'll try covering as to why National Pension Scheme, what is the origin and what is the overall background. Also we'll try understanding, and then we'll also try looking at the overall benefits of the solution, which will help you to understand and envisage as to what do you look at over a period of time, and then what is a comparative analysis of this particular solution vis-a-vis different kind of solutions which are available for your retirement. Yeah. And then we'll also pick up a few facts and figures of a live case study, and then explain it to you as to how the money has grown for somebody who's as simple as one of the investor. We have picked up this particular case study from one of the investors side itself, right? So that's what we are going to do. So let's proceed. So many a times we think through about it, and then what happens is that when you think about various pension related solutions, every next day or every second or third day, you will pick up your newspaper and realize in the business column something or the other written about NPS. Yeah, National Pension Scheme, or sometimes people feel that it could be something else. So what is it? We will talk about it. But before we get into talking about the complete product, let's also understand what are the different myths which are available in the marketplace today. Because the moment when somebody hears about NPS, they also have certain amount of myths in the marketplace, and that's something which I want to first go ahead and make it clear. And then we'll take each one of these myths in subsequent slides and also try to bust those balloons as such. So sometimes when you hear about NPS, people feel that, no, it is meant only for retail investors. Small investments, they can do it, and that's about it. So that's one of the myths. The other myth is also available. I don't want to lock my money for a longer duration, right? That's something which is also another piece which generally people think through much about it. And then the next point which also comes into the mind is that it has a very marginal amount of tax benefit. Then some people also feel that in terms of going ahead and opening an NPS account is it has a very cumbersome process to open an NPS account. Last but not the least, people also feel, which is the fifth point, people also feel that when I'm retiring, at that point of time, whatever pension I will get or annuity I will get out of this particular solution will be a very minuscule amount, right? Now, I want to take each one of it one by one in the subsequent slide and bust it. You will feel that, yes, this is the solution which we have not seen those angles to it. So these are different kind of inhibitions which people have it in mind. Let's try covering each one of them one by one, and then we will understand it even more better. So first of all, this particular solution, or rather one product which can, or rather one solution which can provide you multiple benefits, let's understand what are those benefits. The first benefit is there is a solution which provides you EEE, which is exempt while you're going ahead and making an investment into a solution. Whatever returns are getting accumulated, they also get reinvested without any taxation. That means that is the second E, the second exempt. The third one is when you retire or take an exit from the plan, there are certain amounts which are allowed to be withdrawn. That particular withdrawal is also completely tax-free. And that's the reason precisely it says that exempt when you invest, exempt when the fund grows and gets reinvested, and exempt when you go ahead and take a withdrawal. So that's the triple E benefit. Superior risk management and tightly defined investment universe. So many a times people feel that equity market sometimes is a very risky solution to look at it. But mind you, when you look at a retiral solution, you don't go ahead and invest money for a month or 2 months or 12 months time. Generally, it is invested for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years time horizon. Whenever you look at such kind of a long-term investment, if it has a combination of equity and debt both, and in very healthy composition, then it gives you a better return on investment. The history has shown that. And now what also has happened is that when you look at a solution which is very tightly supervised, It is not that all the ends are loosened and then people can go ahead and make investment, or fund managers can do whatever they want with the fund. That's not the reality. When you look at, which is completely, tightened properly and defined investment universe is completely predefined, then it becomes all the more easier for the investor to get better and consistent return, right? So that's the reason it says superior risk management. The third point, which is again very, very important point, is that when you go ahead and make investments in various investment tools, be it, with all due respect, I'm saying, different investments are available, and I'm not saying that all investments should be done in one bucket. It has to be diversified, but you need to look at the benefits of all and also the challenges of all the investment solutions. So when you look at any long-term, equity-based, mutual fund or any other kind of, life insurance solutions also, the fund management charge plays a very pivotal role. And the fund management charge, mind you, hovers between 1.35% to about 2.5 or 2.75%. Mind you, there is a solution which only charges you in the active managed fund 0.03% to 0.09% fund management charge. Government wanted to make a solution very, very user-friendly, product of masses, and yet very cost-effective. And that's the reason this solution which you are looking at it here is a solution with a fund management charge of 0.03 to 0.09%. Mind you, with this particular fund management charge, this product is not only India's, it is world's one of the most cost-effective retirement solution today, right? And the next part is automatic asset allocation. So here what happens is that you also must have heard about smart transfer option and things of that kind in various solutions which is available. This product also allows you, without any extra cost, an option of smart transfer option, which is nothing but automatic asset allocation. So as you grow older, your equity exposure can, with the preset module, can get reduced further over a period of time, and that allows you to consolidate your return on investment as you grow older. Then looking at next point, which is quarterly performance monitoring by the regulator. Now, NPS is one of the solutions which is governed by Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, which evaluates each and every activities of the respective fund managers. And that's the reason it is the most vibrant regulator today. When we look at it, with the help of the quarterly performance monitoring mechanism, the fund managers are always on their toes to give the best of the returns and safeguard the interest of the respective, subscribers of NPS. The last point in this particular slide is fully digital ecosystem. Now, that's something also which we saw in the previous slide, that very cumbersome process which was there. So I'm just trying to break all those or bust all those balloons which were there in the previous slide as a myth. So here, for your information, it does not have a cumbersome process. The journey of opening the NPS can be finished in max to max about 9 minutes time. It can be between 5 to 9 minutes time, depending on the connectivity and your overall availability of the overall information. Right? So that's how the complete fully digital ecosystem is available. Subsequently, your client servicing also becomes much easier because every information is available online in a portal, wherein with the click of the button, you can do a self-servicing by yourself, right? So that's a quick, myth-busting activity, which we did it just now. Yes. So I was talking about pension scheme, which is governed by Government of India. It comes under the Ministry of Finance, regulated by PFRDA, which is Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. We'll talk at length about it in the subsequent slide. It is a product or solution which is available for all the citizens of India, including NRIs and OCIs, which was earlier only available for residents of India, but it is now available for all. And anybody between age group of 18 to 70 can go ahead and make investments into it. That's what I was referring to. So here, if you look at it, any solution, there is also something which happened the overall journey when we look at NPS as a solution. It started way back in 2004, but over a period of time, the other additional things also came in, which is for corporate NPS. It started. Subsequently, Government of India also realized the fact that the solution initially, it was only started for central and state government employees. But government felt that the social security should be available for all the citizens of India, and hence in 2009 it was made open for all. 2011 it got opened for all the citizens of India, and there are about 11,000 plus companies which are already impaneled in this particular solution. Now, when we look at the journey of NPS per se, how it works. So here, if you look at it, there are two phases. One is accumulation phase. The second one is the withdrawal phase. In the accumulation phase, the respective subscriber or employee goes ahead and makes investments. During the journey of accumulation, if something happens, the entire money which is there in terms of the overall piece is refunded to the nominee during the journey of NPS. Post the journey of NPS, when the pension starts, there what happens is the respective subscriber who has retired will start receiving pension. And if something happens to that particular retiree, then the lump sum is either paid to the nominee or pension is paid to the spouse, depending on the annuity option which one would have selected. So that's how the complete journey of NPS takes place. Let's move forward. So this is what I was talking about with a small brief, but this particular slide gives you more amount of detail, which is nothing but NPS was launched, by Government of India in 2004. 2009 it was opened, which I have already covered, and then 2011 Government of India kind of launched it for all corporates. As of now, we have close to about 14 million subscribers across India. Yeah, that's indeed a large number. Now, this is the slide which gives you a complete understanding of the architecture of NPS. Now, by the end of this slide, let me assure you the fact that, you will become much more better knowledgeable person on the complete architecture of NPS. You'll have to just listen to me a little more carefully, and that's about it. In the next 5 to 7 minutes time, this entire slide will give you a complete end-to-end understanding of the architecture, right? So with that note, quickly starting, the first stakeholder in the architecture is, first, I will explain you the complete stakeholders and their respective duties, and then I will connect the dots with the complete journey of NPS, right? So PFRDA is the regulatory body which comes under the Ministry of Finance. So here the product called NPS is regulated by PFRDA and also created by PFRDA. So if you come back and state that, Saurabh, why don't you bring in 1, 2, 3, 4 more changes in the product? I'll have to say, I'm sorry, I will not be in a position to bring in any change in the product because we are only executors. Whether it is POP or POPSC, which is, AssetPlus, we all are only the distributors of the product. The creation and the governance of the complete product is taken care by PFRDA. That's PFRDA for you. Then you have POP. POP is nothing but point of presence, which is the front end of the product. So the distributor of the product is POP. Like HDFC Pension Management Company is one of the distributor, and AssetPlus is also one of the distributor. We are distributing this particular solution. And then the next one, the overall task of the POP, the point of presence, is to make you aware of the product and also go ahead and do a complete end-to-end onboarding of yours. That means your, the submission of the documentation and then uploading of it and then creation of your permanent retirement account number. All of it is something which is taken care by the POP. So POP is basically the front end of the product. Then you have pension fund manager. Now, pension fund manager plays a very pivotal role in managing your asset. So when you go and select the asset classes, which we'll talk about it in the subsequent slides, once you select those asset classes, it is managed by, fund managers appointed by PFRDA and selected by you. We are also one of the, leading fund managers. So, and we all follow the guidelines which are laid down by PFRDA and manage within those guidelines the entire fund. So that's PFM for you. Then you have NPS Plus, which does the supervision of all the pension fund managers. It's an extended wing of PFRDA, which manages the governing part, part of the complete, pension fund managers activities. Then you have CRA, which is Central Record Keeping Agency. That's the back end of the product. So the complete product called, NPS is back-ended by the CRA, Central Record Keeping Agency. There are 3 agencies which are there, predominantly NSDL, which is now known as Proteon. Then we have KFintech and then CAMPS. So these are the different, set of CRAs, or rather Central Record Keeping Agencies. They are also the repository of this entire data, right? So when you go ahead and join NPS, you will be given a unique number called Permanent Retirement Account Number. and that gets generated. And on behalf of PFRDA, CRAs generate that particular number for you, right? Mind you, this number which gets generated, you can have it one number at a time, and in the entire lifetime, you can only generate PRAN 3 times, 3 consecutive PRANs. At a time, you can't have 2 PRANs as such, right? And then we have custodian. Custodian is nothing but the place wherein your entire transactions in the securities which are done by the pension fund managers are kind of dematerialized through the custodian. And here in the architecture of NPS, Deutsche Bank is the custodian of the entire transactions. And then we have annuity service provider, which is somebody which comes towards the end of the journey of NPS. There are about 13 annuity service providers appointed by PFRDA who give pensions post the retirement or post the exit from the NPS, right? The last one is trustee bank. Trustee bank is basically the bank which takes care of the flow of money, right? Now, at present, Axis Bank is a trustee bank. Now, I'll quickly connect all the dots. So when you go ahead and decide to open your NPS account, you need to approach the POP. POP comes forward, gives you complete end-to-end servicing, and gets your PRAN number generated via media of the CRA, right? So that's how your PRAN gets generated. Now you can log on to the system of CRA and view the entire details, fund performance, and everything on a regular basis. Now, towards the end of the journey of NPS, what happens is also that, if you, during the journey of NPS, also, if you want to get some services, you can get in touch with the POP. They will give you end-to-end all the servicing, contributions, any kind of address change, nominee change, fund switches, anything which is required, we go ahead and help you. However, the portal of CRA also allows you to do self-service, right? So it is available from both the sides, right? Towards the end of the journey of NPS, when you're exiting, or rather, generally the exit age is 60 years. The moment when you're nearing the age of 60, there is a reminder which comes in from CRA stating that your respective, you're turning 60 in the next 6 months' time. Here is a list of annuity service providers. You can select one of them to go ahead and enjoy your pension after retirement. So that is where you'll have to log on to the system, select the annuity service provider, submit, dot on the date of your retirement, your overall fund, which is accumulated in the fund, it goes, which is accumulated as a corpus, goes to the annuity service provider and your pension starts. Now you might ask me a question that, can I also withdraw something? So we have certain slides which will cover the withdrawal part. However, just to give you a quick answer right now in this slide, yes, you have withdrawal facilities also which are available before retirement, which is before the age of 60. If you want to take an exit, you can have something called premature exit, right? And if you are turning 60 and taking an exit and planning to have a withdrawal, there also you can have a withdrawal. So either way it is allowed, but only thing is only after 5 years you can take an exit from this particular solution. Whatever is the fund value which is to be withdrawn, how much can be utilized to purchase annuity, that's something which we'll cover in the subsequent slide. So once this entire thing is done, the journey gets over and your pension starts. Whatever you have decided to withdraw, that money comes to you either in one go or in a deferred fashion or staggered fashion, the way how you go ahead and decide to make an investment. So that's the complete journey of NPS. I hope, as I promised 7 minutes back, that in the next 7 minutes time, you'll be in a position to understand the complete architecture and appreciate the architecture of NPS. So it is very seamless. Let's proceed further to the next slide. Now I'll spend less time on every slide. This was a very important slide, hence I spent a larger amount of time in this slide. Moving from the architecture to the next part, which is the size of the industry. Just wanted to quickly keep you all posted, and then we'll move to the other features and advantages and benefits of the product. If you look at it, the overall fund size, in terms of the overall fund size and also the number of subscribers, if you look at it, this is the complete number. So there are about 22,83,000 central government subscribers, 55,76,000 are the state government subscribers, and corporate subscribers as of now are about 14 lakhs, and about 22,92,000 subscribers are from the unorganized sector, which is the retail sector, all the people who individually go ahead and invest, right? And then there is also something called NPS Savlamban, which is nothing but NPS Lite, which was initially opened for all the below poverty line people, and over a period of time, it got extended to all. As of now, there are about 41 lakh such subscribers. So effectively, it is about 1.57 crore subscribers with a total AUM of about 7.15 lakh crore. So that's the total asset under management, which is there as of now. just wanted to keep you posted. So these are the different fund managers who are available under the NPS architecture. We are also one of the leading fund manager. Now quickly moving to the next slide, which talks about the asset classes which are available. So there are broadly 4 asset classes which are available. You have E, C, G, and A. Equities, corporate bonds, government securities, and alternative and investment choices. Now, equity is something wherein if you go ahead and look at it, as per the PFRDA guideline, the money gets invested only and only in the overall top 200 equities of the the overall Nifty and Sensex, if you look at it. So that allows the fund managers not to cross the limit beyond such large cap funds, right? And as a result, the consistency in the return will be far more better. At the same time, you will not have a volatility which would be very high. Apologies, I think we were talking about this slide wherein the overall number of subscribers and AUM is what we covered. Then we move to the fund managers. These are the respective fund managers who are available. Then we move to the next slide. Abhishek, please acknowledge if slides are changing. Is Azhar not is he not in a position to unmute himself? Azhar is.
No, I think he was not able to join for some reason.
Okay. Right.
No problem. Now slides are changing. It's all perfect.
Okay. Right. So choice of fund managers, which we are talking about, it is E, C, G, and A is something which we tried covering it here. Equity class, and then moving to the corporate bonds. As per the PFRDA guideline, it's only AA and above credit rated bonds are the bonds wherein the money can be invested, right? Basically, A rated bonds and above, and A rated bonds are the ones which are very high on the overall payback capacity and paying back capacity, the rating basically. For your information, we have invested 90% and above amount of funds in the corporate bonds in the AA and above credit rated bonds. So that's the advantage. So we are one notch above of whatever has been set. And the government securities are the ones which are different state and central bonds, which are there when money can be invested. And then alternative investment choices, nothing but the real estate bonds, which are large in overall ticket size, and the overall percentage which can be exposed in the alternative asset class is only restricted to close to only 5%. Equities is restricted to only 75%. However, in corporate bonds and government bonds, if you want to make an investment, you can even have 100% in that, right? So that's as per the PFRDA guideline, and that's what is mentioned here in the active choice. Active fund management for the employees capped at 75%, or for the subscribers capped at 75%, and 5% in case of A class. Yeah. There is also something called auto choice, and this is something which is generally talk of the town, and a lot of people go ahead with this. Depending on your risk appetite, you can go ahead and have active choice wherein you can have up to 75% exposure in equity, or if you want to have a balanced approach and then let the fund manager make changes whenever you are growing older, that is where people go ahead with life cycle fund option, which is also known as auto choice. There are 3 choices, sub choices which are available. So you'll have to select one of them. One is LC75, then you have LC50, and then you have LC25. As the name suggests, LC75 is wherein you have up to 75% exposure in equity. LC50 is wherein you can get up to 50% equity exposure. And the last one is LC25, wherein you can have equity exposure up to 25%. Yeah. And how does this work? And as you grow older, how it gets changed is something which is explained in this particular slide. So when you look at it, this is how it gets changed. So if you are 35 years old, your equity exposure will be 75%. Your overall corporate bonds will be about 15%, and corporate bonds will be 10%. Government bonds will be about 15%. And as you grow older, 4% and 1% they get respectively. Kind of 4% gets reduced from equity, 1% gets kind of reduced from corporate bonds, and then that gets added over a period of time. When you look at moderate choice, there it is 2% and 1% from equity and corporate bonds which get reduced, and that 3% gets added into government bonds. And likewise in conservative, again, every year, from the 36th year onwards, this change takes place. 1% and 2% respectively, they get reduced, and that 3% gets added into government bonds. 1% from equity in the conservative choice, 2% from corporate bonds in the conservative choice, they get reduced. So between moderate and conservative, if you look at it, the difference is in moderate, 1% gets reduced from corporate bonds and 2% from equity. In conservative, 1% gets reduced from equity and 2% from corporate bonds. That's the difference, right? So the advantage of this auto choice model is that as you grow older, your equity exposure gets consolidated and your returns also get consolidated over a period of time. And hence you reduce your overall risk, yet make good amount of return on investment without any extra cost. So there are two choices which are available, tier 1 and tier 2, and that's a myth which is available in the marketplace. Again, I want to break it. Generally, people feel when they are working with a corporate, they are in tier 1 account. When they leave the corporate and join as an individual, it's a tier 2 account. It's a wrong information. Mind you, whenever you open your NPS account, the first account which you open is a tier 1 NPS account, because that's your principal pension account. Tier 2 account is an add-on account which anytime you can open it, right? Now, when I say tier 1 account, that's your pension account, which allows you to have a disciplined investment and accumulate the fund. Tier 2 account is like an investment and savings, wherein anytime you can make an investment, anytime you can make a withdrawal. That's how this entire thing works, right? And if you look at tier 1 account, minimum contribution in tier 1 account initially should be 500. Subsequent contribution could also be 500. In a year, minimum contribution should be 1,000 rupees. In tier 2 account, to start with, you might have to make an investment of 1,000 rupees. Subsequently, you can keep contributing on 250 rupees. In a year, minimum contribution is not mandatory in tier 2. These are different withdrawal facilities, which we've talked about it in the past, but I'm just quickly running it past to you. There is a partial withdrawal facility which is available, which is tax-free. It can be done, after 3 years of start, anytime. Only point is that whenever you make a withdrawal, the maximum amount what you can withdraw out of your individual contributions, 25%. So suppose if you're contributing every year 1 lakh rupees and 5 years you have contributed 5 lakhs, your 5 lakhs in 5 years has become about, say, 7.5 lakh. Your withdrawal, partial withdrawal, which would be allowed, will be only allowed on that 5 lakh rupees which you have actually contributed, not on 7.5 lakh, right? And that is allowed up to 25%. And then the second and third withdrawals are also allowed, but that would be on your additional contributions, not on the previous contributions total withdrawal, right? So that's your partial withdrawal. Then you have a premature exit. Premature exit can be done anytime after 5 years of start. Then you have exit on maturity, which is nothing but at the age of 60, or in case of corporate NPS, the date of retirement, which is there. One can go ahead and make a withdrawal. In case of maturity, how much percentage can go where, that we'll talk about it in the subsequent slide. And then you also have a death benefit. Death benefit overall lump sum, which is available in the corpus, or rather in the fund account. Complete amount gets kind of transferred to the nominee or the legal heir, and that is also tax exempted. Treatment on the annuity. So when you receive pension, believe me, which we were seeing in one of the previous slides, there was a myth that the annuity is very, very tiddly-biddly amount. It's a myth. Annuity is as high as whatever is the current fixed deposit rate which is running. So for your information, at present, the annuity rate which is running is close to about 6.3 or 6.4%, depending on the annuity choices which you select. It goes up to 6.7 also, right? Whereas your current fixed deposit rates, you can yourself figure it out, right? And mind you, this particular annuity is something, it is almost in line with the current fixed deposit rate. So that's the reason. The advantage for you is that when you go ahead and take an annuity after your retirement, it gets fixed for your life. Whereas the fixed deposit interest rates will continue to fall. You will have no choice to go ahead and make it fixed for life. And that is the difference between interest and annuity, which I wanted to bring into your notice, right? Just a quick tax-related solution, which I want to quickly talk about in this particular slide. If you look at it, is my slide visible? Has it got changed? Abhishek, if you could acknowledge.
Yes, Saurabh.
Sure, right. So here what happens is, in case if you are under the corporate NPS umbrella, you get a benefit of 86 D2. When you're going ahead and individually joining this particular solution, then you get benefit under section 80cc D1B, which is again a unique tax benefit. Mind you, it is a unique tax benefit which is not applicable for any other investment solutions, right? So, and that is what in this particular overall table it talks about. Without NPS, if somebody's overall income is about say 50 lakhs, 20 lakh being the basic, this is how it grows, and this is what is your taxable salary, which is about 45 lakh. However, if somebody goes ahead and takes a corporate NPS, up to 10% of the basic can be contributed, which is nothing but 10% of the basic is 2 lakhs in this example. And then in addition to that, you can also go ahead and contribute another 50,000 rupees under section 80cc D1B. As a result, 2.5 lakh rupees extra by virtue of investing in corporate and individual NPS, you go ahead and save, which allows you to have a tax saving of about net 75,000, right? But as far as all the investors who are listening to me in this particular platform, if they want to go ahead and quickly invest, 50,000 is something which is as it is available. That's a unique benefit. If your employer goes ahead with a corporate NPS, then you can also have another additional 10% of your basic, right? But 50,000 can immediately be opted for, right? These are different fund managers and their respective fund performances in the in this particular slide, which you can have a look at it. And as you all see here, we as a fund manager, which is HDFC Pension Management Company, we are there in the top quartile in approximately all the asset classes, be it equity, corporate bonds, or government bonds, across the terms, which is about 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and 9 years respectively. Now, this is a very important slide again, wherein we try to talk about and bring into your notice various investment solutions which are available, which generally people try comparing it with, right? So here what we have done is we have taken a hypothetical situation wherein somebody is about 35 years old, has been in having an annual investment of about 1,20,000, but under RD or under MF, you, in case if it is not a ELSS, then you do not have a tax saving, and as a result, 1,20,000 is a pre-tax number. Post-tax, you will be allowed to only make an investment of 80,400 in these two cases. However, in EPF and NPS, 1,20,000 directly will get invested, right? And if somebody is about 35 years old, for the next 26 years, he goes ahead and invests. Under RD, post-tax is about 20,90,000. EPF, since there is no tax, is 31,20,000. MF, it is 20,90,000 because of the taxation. And under NPS is again 31,20,000. What we have done is we have taken the overall numbers of the last 5 years of the best of the mutual fund and best of the fund managers in NPS. And this has been the overall returns, which you can see it yourself. RD gave about 5.5%. EPF gave about 8.1%, which you all are aware. Mutual fund gave about 13.404%, and NPS gave about 11.36%, which is lesser than MF, but still you can look at the cost ratio, expense ratio, and then realize the return. So here in RD, explicit no tax, no cost ratio, which is explained. EPF, no tax, no expense ratio, which is explained. In MF and NPS, if you look at it, it is about 2.25% and 0.25%. Mind you, this 0.25% is an overall larger number. It could be even lesser than that, because while we were doing an evaluation, it was working out to be about 0.15 or 0.16%. We have still taken as a 0.25%. As a result, if you look at the total corpus after a span of 26 years time, you'll realize 69,58,000 in RD, 1.05 crores in EPF, 1.10 crore in MF, and about 1.73 crores in NPS. Only because of the cost effectiveness. And this is something which we wanted to bring into your notice. Other things are all in terms of the taxability and things of that kind. There is capital gain tax on two things, which is RD and MF. EPF has not, does not have any kind of taxability on this, and NPS also does not have any taxability, right? So this is a quick example which we gave it to you. As a result, what happens is, in case if you stay put, after this amount is something which is withdrawn and some amount you go ahead and take an annuity, your lifelong pension remains this much of an amount, which is definitely a larger sum. And that is what is explained here. Because what happens is, in all other three solutions, When you exit, it is done. Here in NPS, what happens is when you exit, you take away 60%, you still put 40% in annuity and continue receiving, say, about the current rate of annuity, which we have taken as a hypothetical number of 6%, you still continue getting that particular amount of pension lifelong. And hence, this is what the overall number which you might have accumulated, which is 2.77 crores, right? So that's the advantage. So effectively, tax advantage, lowest fee, tax exemption on returns, and tax advantage on the overall, exemption when you make a withdrawal, right? So much more cost-effective product with the lowest amount of expense, lowest amount of taxability. With that note, we are now open for Q&A.
Yeah. So people, whoever has any kind of questions regarding the presentation can just post the questions in chat box. We'll take it up one by one. We already got few questions.
Sure.
So one, I think you have already explained this. Maybe you can just focus it once more. So one
Sure.
of our partner is asking, what is the difference between the active and the auto choice in NPS?
Yeah. So active and auto choice basically are two different choices. And in case if you look at the active choice is basically, as an investor, you decide how much percentage you want to invest in equity, how much you want to invest in corporate bonds, how much you want to invest in government bonds, and how much you want to invest in alternative asset class. Only thing is there is a predefined upper limit which is predefined by the PFRDA. For equities, it is predefined as 75%. For alternative asset class, it is predefined as 5%. Beyond that, you can't cross. You can't go, right? So that's the limit. And then you decide how much you want to invest in where, which asset class, right? Under that asset class, which equity, which is something which fund manager decides as per the PFRDA guideline. Looking at the auto choice, which I have already explained in the detailed table also, which you might have seen it here. This is what is auto choice, which you can see it yourself. Under the auto choice, there are different subclasses which are available. At the age of 35 or up to the age of 35, your equity exposure can be up to 75, 50 or 25% as per your risk appetite. And thereafter, as you grow older, your equity exposure keeps coming down, right? So that is active and auto. I want to proactively also give one more answer because that could be another connecting question. Can I switch over from active choice to auto or auto to active, or within auto from aggressive to moderate, moderate to conservative? Answer is yes. You can go ahead and make those changes 4 times in a financial year. And the next question is, can I switch over from one fund manager to another? Answer is yes. That's also allowed once in a financial year. Right. Over to you, Abhishek, if you have any more questions.
Great. So there's one more question. I mean, you answered the fund manager question again. So somebody is asking, is there any tax benefit for tier 2?
Yeah. So as far as tax benefit is concerned, tier 2 account does not give you a tax benefit. However, for central government employees, there is something which is available because for them, it is a mandatory scheme. So people who are in the old pension scheme and things of that kind, if they want to save tax, for them as of now, it is available. If they go ahead, they will have to mandatorily stay put for 3 years minimum without any kind of withdrawal. Then they get the benefit in tier 2. Otherwise, tier 2 account does not give you a tax benefit at all.
Okay. So the question is it allowed to move to other company for annuity?
Answer is yes. So what happens is that when you go ahead and open your NPS account, as I was talking about in the journey, towards the end of the journey of NPS, the CRA sends you a mail and then it gives you the list of the annuity service providers options. In the drop down also, when you log into your system, you'll get to see all the ASPs, all the annuity service providers, and you can select one among them. Whoever gives you best of the rates and annuity and the services, you can go ahead with that service provider.
One more question is that will the distributor get trail commission if a person is opening a brand from that particular POP or distributor, and then will it continue if at all the investor is doing further investments?
Excellent question. So let me tell you, and as you might have already seen, the fact that the overall cost ratio is very, very minuscule. I mean, it is like, nothing in front of the, mutual fund kind of a thing. So there is nothing called trail for the distributor. However, while the account is getting opened, there is some amount of money which comes to the distributor. I want to only keep you posted about this particular thing, that, you must understand and appreciate the fact that the respective distributor has a very minuscule amount of earning out of it. The biggest amount of benefit comes to the subscriber, and that's the reason it is not India's, it is world's most cost-effective retirement product today, right? And that's the reason you can see the AUM, the overall charges on the AUM itself is hovering between 0.03 to 0.09%. Yeah. So that's something which I wanted to keep you all posted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
so
question.
There's one more question asking, can Tier 1 account be closed completely, and what are the returns? Will the Tier 2 returns will be similar to Tier 1 is what was the question.
Yeah. So I'll give answer to both one by one.
Yeah.
Tier 1 account can be closed completely after 5 years from the date of inception. That means today, if I'm starting, which is say 10th of November 2022, by 10th of November 2000, 27 is when I will be in a position to close my account. Whenever I close my account, the maximum amount what I can withdraw out of the account is only 20%. So suppose if I have accumulated 10 lakhs, 2 lakhs will be allowed to be withdrawn. Remaining 8 lakh is not forfeited. It will go to the annuity service provider and your pension will start immediately thereafter. So that is your question number 1 answer. Now the second question which you had asked is in terms of Tier 2, right?
Yes, Tier 2 returns is it similar to Tier 1?
So Tier 1 and Tier 2 returns could be here and there a little bit, because the patterns are one and the same. It's just that how you manage your exposure. Suppose if you have equity exposure similar to what is there in Tier 1, you might land up getting almost same kind of returns, because the pattern as per the PFRDA guideline for Tier 1 and Tier 2 as of now is the same. However, now as per the new rule, going forward in Tier 2 account, the subscribers might be allowed to have exposure up to 100%.
Great. Right? There's one more question which we get usually asked frequently. That is, what is the withdrawal option during the investment, and how much amount exactly can be withdrawn? I think you already covered this.
I've covered it, but I'll still go ahead and give that answer now for the benefit of everyone. I think Mr. Rajkumar has raised his hands also. We'll give an answer to him also, but I guess he has some question. So coming back to this withdrawal option. So withdrawal option which is available is something called partial withdrawal. Yeah. And the partial withdrawal is available during the journey of NPS 3 times. First, after the 3 years, anytime you can make a withdrawal, and thereafter, regularly you can make a withdrawal. But the biggest piece which you need to look at it is that the objective of NPS is to build the corpus for your retirement. The clause which is available on the partial withdrawal is whatever money you have contributed, 25% of that you can go ahead and make a withdrawal. Yeah. On the basis of there are a few reasons, which is child's education, child's marriage, higher education, or critical illness treatment, and now also COVID is covered in it. All of it is something, because of those reasons, you can give up the complete request. 25% can be withdrawn of the individual contribution. Second and third withdrawals are also allowed, but that second and third withdrawals will be allowed on the additional contributions 25%. So suppose if I have contributed 5 lakhs and 3 years have gone past, now I want to take a withdrawal. 1,25,000 is what I can withdraw. Suppose I have withdrawn 1,25,000 and then next 1 year again I contributed another lakh, which technically must have taken this entire amount to a different level. But how much would I be allowed to withdraw out of that? In this particular example, it would be only 25,000 rupees, because I have additionally contributed 1 lakh. From there, it is only 25,000, right? Likewise, suppose I have contributed another 1 lakh, and how much can I withdraw? Again, another 25,000. And mind you, after the third withdrawal, the withdrawal facility will no longer be available. So 3 times in a lifetime is something which is allowed as partial withdrawals, right? Yeah. I hope I have answered your question, Akshay.
Yes. So should I choose my annuity distributor at the start itself? I mean, Do you have to
No.
choose it at the beginning or?
Yeah. So very good question. So this is, I think, somebody who might have joined during the course of the presentation, because when I talked about the journey and connecting all the dots, I had talked about it. So only towards the end of the journey of NPS is when you need to select the annuity service or pension service provider, not at the beginning. At the beginning of NPS journey, you only select the pension fund manager, not the annuity service provider. Coincidentally, some of the fund managers are also annuity service providers, and that's the reason people get confused, but that's not the reality. So only towards the end of the journey of NPS is when you go ahead and select.
Yeah, and one more question which we also get usually is the difference between the corporate NPS investment and the direct individual NPS investment. So
corporate NPS is something wherein the respective employer has to go ahead and take an empanelment. Then only it can be initiated. There you get another additional tax benefit of ATCC B2, which is 10% of the basic. However, in the individual NPS account, you can take a call. You decide today, you go ahead, open your account and start contributing. Now, the next question comes in, if I'm under corporate NPS umbrella, can I still go ahead and contribute individually? Answer is yes, you can go ahead and make individual contributions also to the same PRAN account, because you cannot open two different PRAN accounts. To the same PRAN account, you can make individual contributions also. Like take an example of myself, I'm an employee of HDFC Pension. My employer has already gone ahead and they are deducting 10% of my basic from my other allowances, and every month it is getting contributed. On top of it, I also keep contributing 4,167 every month, so that by the end of the year I have 50,000 additional contribution, which gives me another extra tax benefit. So that's allowed, and both can go hand in hand. However, individual subscriber can definitely go ahead and open account immediately and start contributing. Yeah.
Yes. I think we'll take few last questions.
Sure.
Can NPS be compared to gratuity of an employee in corporate NPS?
Not really, because of the fact that gratuity is a relatively different scheme altogether. Of course, it's a retiral benefit. The thumb rule of, or rather the calculation of gratuity is 15 divided by 26 into your current basic into number of years what you have served. So suppose if somebody has served for 15 years, or rather, 15 will be a wrong example because there is already 115. So suppose somebody has served for 20 years, then it would be 15 divided by 26 into 20, which is number of years served, into the current basic salary. And that is what is your gratuity entitlement. That gets calculated separately. After you complete, your 5 years of association with the company, it starts getting calculated. However, NPS is a separate thing altogether, which gets contributed every month, gets restructured from your salary, gets contributed every month, and then over a period of time, it builds a corpus for you, which you can take it as a retiral benefit in terms of either pension or some part of it as a withdrawal and some part of it as pension. Yes. Whereas gratuity comes to you handy, in lump sum as such, which you can, on a lighter note, I'm saying the moment when you get that lump sum amount, it gets kind of blown away. Whereas pension, NPS, since it is blocked at one place, it gives you fixed pension. So it gives you golden egg every day, right? That's how it is.
Which is the best mode for the investment? Is it SIP or lump sum annually done?
If you ask me, as a financial service provider or as a financial expert, I've been, teaching people about their financial planning. It is always advisable. Any NAV-based product, you should always make a SIP investment rather than making one time. However, since the year end is approaching, if you still want to go ahead and make SIP approach, what you must do is that you must invest, since we still have 4 months to end this financial year, you should invest 12,500, 12,500, 12,500 and 12,500 so that you finish your 50,000 and get that tax benefit. From 1st of April onwards, you should start investing 4,167, which adds up to 50,000 by the year end. However, that is only for the tax benefit part. As far as fund accumulation is concerned, and you are not only looking at fund, tax benefit, then you must definitely go ahead and start investing on a monthly basis in this particular solution regularly, irrespective of the amount, or rather amount which you wish to build the super corpus for your retirement.
Great. I think we are getting a lot of questions. Maybe due to time shortage, I think we cannot take all the questions. Many
So
of the
what you can do is that my suggestion is, Abhishek, make a
Yes.
note of all these questions.
Yes.
Take down their mail IDs also. What we will do is that we will create a consolidated answers to each one of it, send it back to you. You can in turn send it to all the respective customer, respective people, audience who have posted these questions, and we are good to go. Post that also, if there are any questions, we'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer.
Yes, we'll do that.
I think somebody had raised hands. So do you might want to?
I think his question is already covered. Yeah.
Sure.
And we also getting a lot of operational queries. So for that, I think I'll suggest everyone to please contact the respective RM. So the person would be able to help you in the operational side of it. So that's it. Thank you everyone. Thank you all for joining, taking time out and joining this session. And thank you again. Thank you, Saurabh, for giving this wonderful presentation.
Thanks, Abhishek. It was pleasure was all mine.
Yeah, great. It was a great session, and I hope we'll have this kind of sessions furthermore in future. So
certainly, looking forward to see you all further.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Atan.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.